This might be like take number 6. I really hope it gets out there on the internet. But you know what? It's fine. I'm recording this on a Sunday afternoon. My hangover's gone because I did go for pizza and a lot of cocktails last night. And I've just made myself an iced coffee. We've got coffee, Baileys, and then put the ice in, and it was about up to here. So we've got like this much milk. So if the quality of book descriptions deteriorate from now, you know why? And anyone who thinks that Baileys is just a Christmas drink is completely wrong. Respectfully, That's good shit. Hello, another month has passed. It's now August if you're watching this live. If you're not, it could be February 2025. Hope the world's not gone into flames too much, but let's be real, it probably has. Why have we started like this? This is gonna be the video. But today I'm here with another monthly reading wrap-up summary, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure you can see in the title which one I opted for. And I've had a good reading month. I have read 16 books. Yeah, that's like a book every 2 days, which seems insane. And I'm like, how the fuck does someone do that? And then I do it. So I've been busy. We've got quite a lot of 5 stars. I've been lucky. But as usual, and by usual I mean in the other one monthly reading wrap up I've done, I'm going to start from the worst and get to the best. So first up we have got 2-star reads. For a bit of context, my mental health has been like this month. I've had some days completely in bed. I've had quite a few days crying. I've had more days not being able to cry because I feel completely numb. Way. Feeling a bit better now, but to summarise, bad periods, no real reason because just depressed. Finish PhD in 2 months. Shit, that means I need a job and money. Help. That's a lot of work to do in 2 months. My mental health is kind of like I need a full month off, but I can't do that. What a whistle-stop tour. How great. And the reason I'm telling you this, apart from the fact that I am a huge oversharer online, is because when my mental health isn't great, I am super picky with books. This seems to be 5 minutes of listening or 5 minutes of reading. Yes or no? No, next. No reason, to be honest. I'm just not feeling it. So bear that in mind with 2 stars. Please and thank you. First up, we have got Red Clocks by Lenny Zumas. This had so much potential. It was published in 2018, and the concept of it is that a lot of reproductive rights have been made illegal. So we've got abortion, IVF and adoption have all changed the regulations, and you know, this is a fiction, but is it? It might not be. And I wish I read this when it came out in 2018, because, you know, now lots of places in America don't have abortion rights. A lot of the world doesn't. And it's kind of like it lost its impact. I'm reading it now being like, haha, yeah, that's kind of happening right now. And I wanted something really gripping and heavy, and what I got was a nice and accessible explanation on how these rights affect people, but not a lot of real devastating emotions. And it seems counterproductive. It probably is, but when I am specifically depressed, I struggle to feel anything, to be honest. I'll go numb, I'll go hollow, and I often reach for quite heavy books in the hopes that I will feel something, feel like pure shit, but I don't because I can't feel. That's the vibe. And yeah, this one, I gave up halfway through. Next we have Brandon Taylor's Filthy Animals, which I so wanted to love because I rated real life Brendan's other book so much. It was an amazing look at PhD life, haha, triggered, masculinity, sexuality, stigma, violence in relationships. It was really beautifully crafted. But I messed up here because I didn't realise it was short stories. If I bothered to read the blurb, which, yeah, my fault, I wouldn't have picked it to read at that time because I was looking for quite an easy to follow plot, and you know, this isn't even one plot, it's like 12. So, yep, got about a third of the way through, was trying to connect the short stories, thinking they were chapters, and was obviously very confused. So, there's a theme with the 2 stars. It's not you, it's me. Finally, for 2 stars, we've got Emily St. John Mandel's Sea of Tranquility. So yeah, I tried this one. I previously tried Station 11, and I definitely preferred the plot of Station 11 because in my sad potato weighted blanket cocoon state, which is when I tried this book, it just went over my head. It made me feel like a fucking idiot. And looking back, I don't actually know why the fuck I picked it up at that time, because this is a book about different worlds and the concept that somebody can be doing the same thing but in 2 different universes. What about that sounds easy to follow and, you know, not too serious, or one that my sad little brain can grasp? I do not know. Nothing sounds easy about it. So it's no surprise that I just didn't get it. Got about a third of the way through and was like, I'm not following this. Yeet. And then my 2-star reads. But I must say, one day alone, I started and put back 7 different books, including some of my all-time favourites, rereading them. They just weren't hitting the mark, hitting the button. It just wasn't it at the time. On to 3 stars. First up, we have got Notes on an Execution by Dania Kafka. Really, really good book. This is a heavy one. It looks at somebody on death row and it's counting down their execution. The story is split into 2 because, as well as this countdown and first person narrative from the criminal, we have also got third person narrative from a police detective who is investigating the crimes this man may or may not have. Now, it's pretty obvious this man did some crimes and is being investigated. Really good. Really good. So why was it 3 stars? I listened to this and I'm quite bad with character names. I often put a tab on new characters so I can go back and check and be like, okay, this one hasn't been done before, because I get a lot of names mixed up and have a bad memory. And I think I should have read this physically instead of listening to it, because that would have helped me hugely. Although I will say, when it all clicked, it was really good. It was gripping. I was ready. I was listening to it on like a stupidly fast speed. It gets a thumbs up. Just a bit confusing, and the end kind of felt short for me. I wish there was just a little bit more emotion, but like I say, I've been feeling hollow. This book might make you cry. It probably will make you cry, to be honest. And yeah, if this sounds up your street, don't be put off by 3 stars. Absolutely go for it. Then we've got Mrs. Death. Mrs. Death. This was another audiobook, and this is an example of an audiobook done well. Selena is a poet and she does a lot of spoken word, and you can tell this book was performed and it was done so beautifully. It kind of felt like I was in a trance, and did I follow it all? No. Can I tell you everything about this story? Absolutely not. But did I love it? Yeah. This is about Mrs. Death, who is, think to Sims, the Grim Reaper. You know, you've deleted the door from the house on fire. The Grim Reaper is waiting. Red flag, that's what I did when I was younger. But this Mrs. Death is very friendly. She's a black woman and she just seems sound. I would love to have a cup of tea with her. A lot of things in this book will stick with me. It was just the overall plot I found very hard to follow. Finally, we have got a non-fiction. This is I Want to Die, but I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. And for me, this was so comforting. I read it at exactly the right time and it delivered. This is a translated book. Anton Her has worked his magic and it is now in the UK. And this looks at Beck's experiences with mild depression. I think it's called dysthymia. It's essentially not heavy feelings of suicide and instead this like flatness, feeling numb. And she also kind of self-medicates and gets comfort from food, which is kind of the story of my whole mental health. I can see why a lot of people won't like this book. It is repetitive. Not a lot of progress happens in the book through Beck recording her 12 weeks of therapy, and it's kind of pointless. But to me, it's a really accurate representation of therapy and it made me feel seen, heard. Other verbs. Those. Baileys is just so fucking good. Oh my god. If you like Baileys, you need to have salted caramel Baileys. It's 4-star time. I have read my last Ishiguro book and I'm sure he'll come out with more, but right now I do not know what to do with myself. This is his debut, which ironically I read last. It felt quite different to some of his books. This one focused a lot more on maternal figures, which often he leaves out, and it's a lot shorter than most of his reads. It's about a mother and her life in Japan, and she ended up moving to England and there's a suicide in it. She's reflecting on this death of her daughter. Not a spoiler at all. It's on the blurb. Hey. But that's all I'm going to tell you, because one of the next videos you see will be a full Ishiguro guide. Yeah, I know, I'm a tease. And I'm very excited for that video. Then we have got The Trees by Percival Everett. This has just been announced as one of the Booker Prize longlist titles. Heavy book. I've not read a book this heavy in a while, and I would compare it to Tiffany McDaniel's Betty, so you know that speaks volumes. Here we've got a crime fiction, and it's looking at lynchings in rural Mississippi, so we deal with a lot of racism, a lot of gory details, and it's a devastating book. But what I will say is that this one was executed. Oh, I shouldn't say executed. What's another word? This one was incredibly done. It's educational. It's really heavy, but there's still tiny notes of humour in some of the characters. It's one you'll really get invested in from the first page. I sped through this book, and it is 334 pages of tiny font. I really recommend this one, and I would not be mad at all if it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize. The Girls by Emma Cline is a book I presume you'll at least recognise the cover of. I had heard about this book, but I didn't know the plot of it. And, you know, more fool me, because I loved this one. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of my favourite films. It looks at Charles Manson and his Manson girls, which were a cult. They performed a very graphic murder on 8 people, including a pregnant celebrity, and it's just a whirlwind. It was a great surprise for me when this book was a retelling of that story. It was kind of strange because until the very end, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and this book were pretty identical, but I'm a creature of habit. There was some differences, and, you know, it's a hit for me. I just love, like, Netflix murder documentaries, so if I can read about them, it's a winner. Then we have got an absolutely stunning cover. This is Rachel Yoda's Night Bitch. I've wanted this for a while, but I did not like the UK hardback cover at all, so I thought I would wait, see what the paperback was, and it paid off, because this is stunning. Night Bitch is a funny one. It's a weird one. It's about a mother who is really struggling with fucking looking after a child, a human being. I'm not very good with babies, and the panic in this book, yeah, I get that. So this is funny. It's about a mum who thinks she's turned into a dog, and there's some gruesome parts. I will say that, you know, dogs are animals. If you don't like raw meat, stay away. Also, this is paired with some gorgeous discussions of motherhood, of what a good mother is, how you're expected to dress as a mother, play with your child, how hard and grueling these days are, especially if, in this case, your partner works away for the week and returns on a weekend. And it was just really well done. And finally, for the 4-star reads and cult extravaganza, we've got Cult Classic by Sloane Crossley. This is a proof, but it's out in August, so as you're watching this, yeah, you're ready. Cult Classic looks at a woman called Lola who sees one of her exes in a restaurant, and she's like, what a coincidence. But then she sees another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And it gets to the point where, you know, this is definitely not a coincidence. Something is happening, and that thing that is happening may or may not be a cult. Let's have a sip, because we've made it. I've just checked, I'm still filming. we've made it. We are on to 5-star reads. First up, a reread of The Manning Tree Witches. This is one of my favourite books. I think I have reread it 5 or 6 times now. And if you're also a fan, you'll be pleased to know that A.K. Blackmore, the author, announced on Instagram last week that she's coming out with another book. The Manning Tree Witches is about a village called Manning Tree in 1643, and there's a witch hunter. Now, this witch hunter is, we'll say, all talk, because his way to identify witches seems to be choose a woman he doesn't like, strip them naked, check to see if their bodies have any moles, pimples, imperfections, birthmarks, and if when they're pricked with a pin, any of them bleed, you're a witch. Foolproof. Perfect. So this is a tale about some women who are suspected as witches. But the reason I love this book is for the writing. It is bouncy. It completely matches the fact that this is a village, a folky village in the 1600s. It flows perfectly. Some of the words you're like, is that the right word? But it fits. It's a sad one. It's really moving, and it's a slow burner, I will say. The first 80 pages, nothing really happens, but you've got to trust me on this one. It's really great. It's another reread. This is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. I dare you to try and find a piece of writing that is more powerful than Chanel Miller's. If you're like, why do I recognise that name? It's not for cheery reasons, because Chanel Miller was raped at a university campus while unconscious. It was a while ago now. I want to say maybe 5 years ago, maybe like 6 or 7. This is a book about the whole experience, the injustice from the media, from the court. It's fucking horrible. It really is, but it's an essential read. Chanel Miller starts his book by saying she's not qualified to write a book. She is a brilliant writer. I would read her shopping lists. I would read more of her shopping lists. 5 stars. Then we have got another non-fiction. 2 5-star non-fictions. Oh, what's going on? This is Lucia Osborne Crawley's My Body Keeps Your Secret, and it's very similar in its themes. Lucia was raped at quite a young age and she didn't tell anybody. Years later, she got pretty sick. I think she's got chronic illnesses, and they couldn't work out, say, where she was feeling this pain from, what was the cause, and it turned out it's from trauma. Lucia talks about her own experiences, but she also interviews a lot of non-binary people, trans women and cisgender women, and this is just so powerful. Talks about kind of everything. So it obviously talks about rape and trauma, but it talks about relationships as a whole. It talks about body image. It talks about, I don't know, I can't remember, but it's really good. Endometriosis is spoken about a lot, which is very relevant because I have a pelvic scan this month. Alcohol consumption, therapy, sexuality. Then, oh my god, which one do I do first? 2 5-star fictions I'm obsessed with. First up, yeah. This is a book, viewer, reader, listener, if you're just listening to this while tidying your room. This is a book that I thought I was above for some reason. I saw the hype and I was like, it's a romance. I'm not really into romance. Gabby, kindly shut the fuck up, because this book is flawless. If somebody is daring enough to name a book after Florence and the Machine lyrics, and the editing team, the publisher, they've agreed to it, it must be pretty special. And it is. This is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, and it is so beautiful. This follows Faye, who is an artist. A lot of her art is to do with the death of her boyfriend. He died. Oh no, wait, I think they were married. Yeah, they were married. She is commissioned to do a piece at an exhibition, and she may or may not fall in love, have some fabulous sex, and learn to trust people again, open up about her husband's death. It's so nice. Where's the hand? Then, last up, we have got Milk Teeth by Jessica Andrews. Another easy 5 stars, no questions asked. Jessica Andrews' first book, Saltwater, was good. I liked it. I think I gave it a 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't hugely enthusiastic. This, on the other hand, I'm kind of in love with. If you are a 90s to maybe early 2000s baby and you have been zapped in the head by diet culture, you need this book. So I annotated the shit out of this book, but one part stands out. We watched Victoria Beckham shrink into her seat at the World Cup and trace the curve of Kate Moss's thighs in her gold Lorex Glastonbury dress. We swelled with longing as sequins dripped from the narrow shoulders of the Olsen twins and sighed with envy as the inky daisies tattooed around Peach's Geldof's stomach squeezed her into a smaller, more angular shape. We watched Alexa Chung form a long black line in her skinny jeans and ogled Cassie from Skins, angel-haired in a green gold dress, spun out of pills in the dawn. Skins I adored at the time, but it kind of fucked me up. We then go on to say we learned the language of self-destruction in Hip Bones and Heroin Chic. The women we admired could do anything if they were skinny and beautiful enough. They flaunted their appetites for sex and drugs, good time girls who could take the whole rush of the world in their slender fingers as long as they didn't eat too much. We go on. This book does such a good job at dissecting little things that I'm sure a lot of people didn't think twice about, that actually had a large devastating impact on their mental health. It's really special. If you're still watching this, thank you very much. I would appreciate it a fucking lot if you could subscribe to my channel, if you could maybe share it with your friends, and maybe give me a like. Also, I always want to know the Goodreads out there, so please let me know your favourites from last month. Just add them onto my never-ending TBR, because at this point we're already a lost cause. I'm never going to read them all. We might as well just extend it further. Do I have anything else to say? No, I don't think so. Just thanks Thanks for the support. I'm genuinely really enjoying making YouTube videos, so... I swear I'll chat normally and then for exits, outros, endings, I'm like, yeah, goodbye. Yeah, thanks, cheers, see you later, alligator, in a while, crocodile. I'm now gonna go and probably read. I'm currently reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry and Poor Little Sick Girls by Ione Gamble. Both very different, liking them both at the moment, and I will keep you tuned in the next wrap up. So, oh no, you're gonna have to stick around for another month.